two people get together and they hang out, they enjoy each other's company, they tell their friends about each other, they fall in love, they start having disdain for each other, they fall out of love, they break up. Short story, right? Well, welcome to Hell in the Hallway, and today we're going to go through that story on how to break up. So thanks for joining. I'm Billy Gilliam. I appreciate you stopping in for a minute. And we're going to talk about some rules to breaking up. And that's unique, right? Because usually we don't get these kind of rules. We don't get told, like, what's a really good way to break up with somebody, right? That's not the kind of information we tend to seek out with our friends or seek out with a therapist or anyone who we find ourselves getting social support from, right? So, but when we do break up, we tend to make some serious mistakes, right? That cause us to keep having difficulty, right? So here's what I would like to talk about, some particular rules. So first off is be clear. Being clear is being kind. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't let a person guess. That's not okay. And that's because you fear a conflict. You have avoidance behaviors, and that's not okay. Know what you want. And if you're not clear, say that to a person. Say, I need some time. I need some distance in order to process in my own mind what it is that I want or what it is that I'm going through. But be clear. Being clear is being kind. Don't be wishy-washy. This is your life as well as theirs. There's no need to hinder people's progress and movement in their grief, right? And because it's a loss. When we lose relationships, even if they're bad, there's still a loss. There's still a grieving process people have to go through. So don't allow a relationship to sit in a coma when you know full well you're done with it. Okay? Call the time of death. Be kind, but be firm. And I'm not saying be firm does not equate to being mean, right? It says that you make what's called declarative statements. You don't say stuff like, I don't know if this is really working out when you don't want to be there anymore. You say, this is not working out. See, you see how the first one was not really clear, kind of wishy-washy, and the second one was very declarative, but it was firm and it wasn't rude, okay? I'm going to tell you the other one, which is going to be really interesting that people struggle with, is get some distance if you have to, you know? Separate yourself for a little while. But we don't tend to do that, okay? We kind of, breaking up is so difficult, so we end up tethering ourselves to the trauma and drama of breaking up. Constant calling, going back and forth, talking about whose fault it is. What is it that you want? Do you want to work it out and process the pain associated with the relationship? Or do you actually want to end the relationship? Or are you not even sure? Either one of those answers are okay, but you have to be clear about which answer it is for you. Okay? The other rule I would say is be classy about it. I mean, do that in person. Do not break up in a text message. And I've have said probably some terrible things in text messaging, and I know better, right? So don't do this stuff in person, never in public. Even if you want to go bat crap crazy, don't do that. Stay classy. Discuss what's going on and say, and for these reasons, I can't stay in this relationship. This is no longer healthy for me. And if it's not healthy for me, guess what? It's not healthy for you, because I am going to anchor the relationship in my irritation or my resentment or my distance, whatever it happens to be. Okay? So we're going to do a 2-part series when it comes to rules to breaking up. So again, what are you going to do? I'm listening. Yep. You're going to do that first. You're going to be clear. You're going to be clear. You're going to make a declarative statement. You're going to be kind. You're going to be firm. Right? You're not going to say, I don't know, I think, maybe, kind of, sort of. You're going to say, this is what I want to do, and here is why. Right? You're going to get some distance from that person. Sometimes you have to step away so you can kind of clear your own mind and figure out what it is that you want. Right? You're going to stay classy, because there is nothing worse than breaking up in a way that is traumatic. The breakup itself is a trauma. to a person. Again, relationships are hard enough to break up from because it is a loss. Something has died. And we struggle with the fact that something is dying, acknowledging it, pulling the plug, and calling the time of death. We struggle with that. Sometimes you have to call the time of death and not sitting there doing CPR on somebody you wish would just die. Does that make sense? Not at all. So thanks again. Hey, come back for part 2. I can't wait for you to be a part of it and talk about different rules of breaking up. Until then, keep in mind that it's not just about destination, friends. It's also about revelation. See you soon.